Now, for over a week now, Russian strikes have been hitting targets over in Ukraine. Critical energy infrastructure has been targeted, according to Russia's defense ministry. To talk more about this, we can bring in our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Rob, is this a new Russian strategy ahead of winter?
Oh, no question about it. They're really going after Ukraine's energy infrastructure. And according to President Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, they're having some success. 30% of Ukrainian power stations have been knocked out in the last 8 days. Over the last 24 hours, 1,160 Ukrainian towns and villages have been without power. The town of Zhytomyr, which is to the west of Kiev, the capital, and about 270,000 people, has had no power for the last 24 hours.
No power and no water because
no power
it's linked,
and no water.
Yeah.
So hospitals are having to rely on backup generators. This is the situation that the Ukrainians are facing at the moment. They're having some success in shooting down missiles and drones coming in, but the numbers that are crossing into Ukraine are so many, are so huge that even on a 70% strike rate by the Ukrainian air defense, a lot are still getting through, and which is why President Zelensky is now talking about rolling blackouts, a very hard winter ahead. And remember, Ukraine has very hard winters in which the temperature drops well below zero, to conserve energy as much as possible in the key hours between 7 and 9 in the morning and 5 at 10 at night to minimize use of electrical appliances, and encouraging people to, when they can, if they have the money, to buy generators, because otherwise it's going to be very tough. Even with all these measures that the Ukrainians are doing, even with the repair efforts they're putting into place, it's still going to be tough.
But all this is happening at the same time that Russia continues to face losses on the battlefield. I mean, just in the region of Kherson, they've told residents to evacuate.
Well, that's right. General Surovikin, who's the commanding officer of Russian forces in Ukraine, has been saying that the Russian forces there are facing a very tough period right across that immensely long combat line from Kharkiv region in the north right down to Kherson in the south, and virtually everywhere apart from the area of Bakhmut in the center of that line, things are going very badly for the Russians. Particularly, it seems at the moment in Kherson, where the Russians are talking about an evacuation. Many others would prefer to use the word deportation. It's not clear exactly what is going ahead, whether people are being evacuated voluntarily or not, or whether Ukrainian citizens are being forced to leave. Either way, in the eyes of the international community, this could constitute a war crime. But why are the Russians doing this? I think it's precisely why are the Russians switching to the attacks on Ukraine infrastructure precisely for this reason. I think because things are going so badly on the battlefield, they need to be able to. The commanders of this effort, in particular the government in Moscow, needs to be able to demonstrate some success, and in particular to the hardline right wingers, who are pressing the Russian government to take even stronger measures against Ukraine, that something is being done, that there is some success to write home about. And certainly it's the case. They are having success, but whether or not they will be successful in what appears to be their main aim, which is to break the morale of the Ukrainian people, I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
All the signs are at the moment that all these measures that the Russians are taking have exactly the reverse effect.
I mean, all they're doing is affecting the civilian population even more and not gaining any physical territory. Thank you very much for that, Rob Parsons there.